What is a common myth about your job or your field of expertise?
I wouldn't call it a myth as much as I would call it a reputation.
Okay.
A lot of tax preparers are, when it comes to the tax field, just because of the amount of audits that the IRS issue, the field itself gained a reputation of a lot of people are not knowing, like they don't know what they're doing.
Okay.
They're not knowing how to carry their business right. A lot of people will mess up your tax return. So I get a lot of people that I feel bad for them that have been, I would say, I don't want to use the wrong language, but they have had very negative experiences when it comes to like filing their taxes, and that tax preparer did, they just messed up their file.
Okay.
So they come and they're very hesitant about everything, and they have a lot of trust issues in you because of their experience, which they're excused, right?
Right.
But I would say the reputation that surrounds this field makes it very hard for anyone that's new to get into the field.
Okay.
And take off.
Yes.
It's just because of the reputation.
Sure.
Because of the amount of audits, and a lot of people just do it out of fun, so they don't worry about knowing the right rules, knowing the right, like what may get you in trouble. And I hear a lot of people that come to me and they tell me, my old tax preparer told me to do so, and I'm just like, my jaw drops. Like, how would a person in the field tell you to do this? Right? So it's just the field is surrounded by a lot of like negative reputation of people not exactly knowing what they're doing, and people that dignity isn't one of their, top priorities when it comes to giving you what you deserve to get.
Okay.
So I would say it's more of a reputation than it is a myth.
Okay. So would you think that, there are, I guess, people in that field that maybe do it more part-time or as like a second job for extra money? Do you feel maybe like it's not their profession, so they're not constantly staying up to all the new codes and regulations throughout the year, and that might be part of that, that issue?
A lot of people just do it out of, it's a seasonal thing. Let me make a couple of bucks and then go on with my life.
Okay.
Right? And do something else. If you're not willing to give this field a full time of your, like as much as you give any other job or any other field, if you're not willing to do that, then just don't do it. Because you'll never be able, like, even though tax season, yes, is a seasonal thing only for like 4 months.
Sure.
But throughout the whole year, you need to stay updated about a lot of things.
Yeah.
So you need to follow up with a lot of things. You need to be on top of it. Even if your actual physical job starts from like January to April, no, throughout the whole year you need to be doing a lot of things other than just, I'm just gonna get another job, and of course get another job if you want to, but just don't take a look at this specific field as something that's seasonal. You just do it for fun, make a couple of bucks, and then leave.
Yeah.
Because when people go back to seeking help from those tax preparers, they're not going to find them.
Yeah, I mean, if your field's anything like the mortgage business, where guidelines are constantly evolving, it is definitely a around-the-clock, year in and year out job, where you always have to stay up to date on all the different guidelines. Because, like, literally, if one thing changes on a file, that could bring in a whole new slew of guidelines. And if you're not aware of that, you're just putting clients in bad positions where they're under contract. They put their earnest money down, they pay for an appraisal, they're halfway through the process, and all of a sudden that underwriter says, you don't meet guidelines. What is the most important personality trait or strength that someone would need to work in your industry to be successful at their job?
Attention to detail. Absolutely, all the way. Attention to detail.
Know how to add and subtract.
And taxes, if someone got you a W-2, if you missed a single digit number, their whole file could get messed up. So you need to constantly be paying attention to every single thing that you're plugging in and every single piece of information that they're giving you.
Yes.
So attention to detail, if you do not have it in this field, then this field is definitely not for you.
Yeah.
And you know how they also call certain people, they have an audit eyes?
Yeah.
Isn't that a saying, right? Or like they have an auditing eyes.
Yeah.
So basically when you look at the papers or the file, you need to understand what they're missing, because a lot of people don't know a lot of things, like let's say certain healthcare coverage needs to be reported.
Okay.
Right? So a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
So if you're getting a healthcare through your employer, you don't need to report that, because on the W-2, Box 12 already reports that for you. But then if you're getting it through the marketplace, you need to report it. So a lot of people don't know very little pieces of information like that. So they come to you and they give you the papers, and if you do not make them aware, hey, if you have any health insurance throughout the marketplace, you need to report that. Here's the form number that I need. If you do not tell them that, I've seen a lot of people that come to me and tell me, oh, I filed last year with such and such, and now they're sending me this paper, and this paper is just basically the refund. The refunds are being held because they have not provided the necessary documents.
Yeah, and the government gets a copy of all this stuff.
Absolutely.
So it's almost just like they're just double checking the work, right?
Absolutely.
And if it's missing information,
they're not going to send you anything.
It's going to cause delays, penalties, potentially an audit.
It usually sometimes it takes up to a year for you to get your money back.
Yeah.
And then when you go to the other tax season, and now you want to file for the next year, and you have a problem that is unresolved from the year prior, it messes up everything, and it also delays your current tax processing. So it's all of it just like
domino effect.
Yes. So that's why I always say, like, if someone does not know how to be on top of it when it comes to like attention to detail, to look at the papers, know if they're missing anything, be willing to be patient, because a lot of people they have very limited knowledge about taxes. So when they come to you, some of them just ask very, like common questions, and some of them just don't know anything. They're just giving you the papers, and they're like, hey, you know what, let's say I moved, to this state, I have no idea how it functions. If that's for states that do have state taxes, and then they're just lost. So you need to be able to just sit with them and tell them, here is 1, 2, 3 that you need to do, 1, 2, 3 that I need from you, and 1, 2, 3 that we need to verify before we submit it to the IRS.
Right.
So you just need to be aware of what you're advising the person to do. And you also need to have very, very strong attention to detail, because as I said, one digit can create just a whole mess. And then you also need to be patient enough with your clients. Yeah,
similar in our business too. So like one of the biggest things we talk about when we're training junior loan officers or just someone new in the business is the application process when filling out the mortgage application. Granted, a lot of clients fill them out online nowadays, but you have to review it and then call them up and do an interview.
Right.
Same thing, attention to detail, see the big picture, and do a great interview, because they may answer a question one way, and that could open up 2 or 3 more questions for you, because you realize, because they answered it this way, now these different tax codes or regulations come into play. So I definitely see how that plays a huge role in your industry.